Hi guys, good morning. It's great to see everyone today. Whoop whoop. Are we feeling happy?
Yeah.
Did you bring your smiles?
Yeah.
That's good news because we're going to need them on this. And we are in math class. We are talking about what type of math? Multiplication. Absolutely. Please show me the 3 signs for multiplication. What are they? Let's see them. Let's do it. Boom, which is what? What is that? That's the times. It's an X. Very good. What's the next one?
The dot.
Boom, it's the dot. Very good. Or it could be an asterisk. Very good. All right, and what's the last one?
Parentheses.
Parentheses. Very good. Not the green hole, but definitely parentheses. All right, that's awesome. Okay, we are on week 4 of multiplication with this, and today we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. I'm very excited about what we're doing today. You will need to have your notebooks open, your pencils ready to write, because you are going to be doing a little quiz for me during this class. Woo, 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 woo. I'm excited about that. Do you know why? Because a quiz teaches us what we know, but it also teaches us what we don't know. And if we're trying to figure out what we know, we have to know what we don't know. You know, how are you ever going to know that unless you kind of test it, unless you challenge it? And so this morning, I like to call it moo. Everybody say moo.
Moo.
Very good. I like to call it moo because it's our moment of opportunity. Moo. Moment of opportunity. Moo. Let me hear it.
Moo.
This is our moo. This is our moment of opportunity to learn something and have a good time and have fun learning it, but to really get it. This is where we get to have extra practice on these concepts, so I'm excited about that. Here we go. First of all, we've got, let's read it together.
Zero
property. Excellent. Okay, now last week we started a strategy for zero property, and let's do it together. All right, pencils are down. Everybody's sitting up. Everyone is sitting up. Great. I don't want to call names. You don't have to stand up, but just sit up. Very good. Okay, let's bring it out. How do we start it? It starts out zero property means, very good, because what are we doing? We're looking at a zero even as we're saying it, right? I don't have it up at my eye. I have it right here where I can look through it and I can see the zero and I'm saying the definition. So here we go again. Zero property means, very good, any number, what? Multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. All right, and we're going to do this with a little bit of attitude, right? Okay, so let's relax and do it. I'm not making you stand up today because we're recording and, you know, all the up and down and all that. But here we go. Are you ready? Let's do it again. Zero property means any number multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. Yeah, I love that. You guys did that with emphasis and force. I love it. Now let's take a look at it. Here's our first equation. Let's read it together.
7 times 0.
Let's stop right there. We're not even going to do the product or anything yet. I want to ask you some questions about this. What type of math are we doing in this equation? Yes.
Zero property.
We are doing zero property. And what is the math sign? Yes.
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Very good. All right. Now today you're all going to be yes. I'm not calling any names today. Again, we're videoing, so I don't want to call names. We're just going to go yes, yes, yes. So everybody's yes today. All right. Okay. Yay.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to do that song this time?
We might do that. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have time to do it. Here we go. Now, in a multiplication equation, these numbers these digits, they have formal names. They have formal names. They're called something, like this 7 could be called something else if it's in a different type of equation. But in this multiplication equation, it's called something. Everybody tell me what it's called.
Factor.
Very good. It's called a factor. So if we were to read it this way, it would be factor times
factor
equals
product.
yes, factor times factor equals product. All right, so we have that down. Does everybody have that down?
But it's
Everyone feeling confident about that because we are moving forward today and you absolutely have to know that it's factor times factor equals product. Because today we're going to see the factors in a different way and we're going to see the products in a different way. And that's very important that we're really getting that we understand the name. All right, now the second thing we're going to review is this. We have math strategies for everything we do. That's a good thing. That makes us good math detectives, right? With the dog movie and all that. Okay, so we were good math detectives. This first factor is, remember how I talked about how math is always talking and how it won't hush and how it bosses you around, how it tells you what to do?
Yeah.
Well, this sign is telling you what to do. It's like, oh, you will multiply. Okay, so that sign is telling you that. This first factor is also yickety-yakking. It will not hush. It's talking because it's telling you what it represents. So let's do that strategy together, okay? So the first factor represents groups. All right, and why do we do the arms? Because we can see the groups. We can see the groups. So the first factor is talking. It's telling you what? It's saying, I'm 7 groups, right? Okay, I have 7 groups. Ta-da! It's saying that. All right, it's talking. As we move forward, we have the second factor. Let's do our second factor strategy. Here we go. The second factor represents how many are in each group. Very good. How many are in each group. Now, why are we doing this? Are we planting potatoes? What are we doing?
We're stamping.
We're making dots, we're stamping, we are actually putting the number in the groups. Does that make sense to everyone? That's what we're doing. Okay. So the second factor is also talking. The second factor, though, has a little bit of attitude. That's why I like to do zero property with a little bit of attitude, like 0. Because look at me with this. This is what the second factor is saying. I don't care how many groups you've got nothing. You're not putting anything in those groups. You've got 0. That's why it equals 0. So the problem is telling us what to do. The problem is telling us the answer. The first factor is saying, woo, I've got 7 groups. And the second factor is going, yeah, big deal. I'm not putting anything in those groups. So you've got 0. That's your answer. That's your product. Okay? So can't you imagine this problem having a little bit of attitude? Can't you just see 0 going like, can't you? I can, and it makes it fun for me. So I like to imagine it. All right, 0 property. So if 0 property is true, let's do it one more time. 0 property means any number. Wait, is that any number? Like, what if it's 12?
Any number.
Wait a minute. What if it's 54?
Any number.
Okay, no, it can't be. What if it's 1,297,348?
That's still any number.
Still what? Is still what?
0.
Are you kidding? Any number? It means what it says? It really means any number?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And that is good to know. Okay, here we go. Any number multiplied by 0 is equal to what? 0. So that means if there's a 0 in this equation, the product is going to be 0. Now, I'm going to represent this for you very quickly. And I have to do it this way because I don't have a big whiteboard. I have my little board like this. But let me show you. We have our strategy, 7 times 0. Okay, the first factor is talking. It's telling us how many groups. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 groups. Okay, things are looking good. But then the second factor gets to talk. And what does the second factor say?
I'm not putting any in a group.
I'm not putting a thing in there. Okay? Well, I have 7 groups with nothing in them. So peeps, I have nothing. I have nothing. It doesn't matter that I have 7 groups. I don't have anything in there. They're empty. So I have nothing. So the product is 0. I want you to be able to visualize it, and I want you to be able to understand why it's 0, and not just memorize the fact that it is 0. Okay? Because there's a difference from you saying, oh, I know if I see a 0 in that equation, my product is going to be 0. Sure, you can memorize that, but I want you to understand why it's 0. So we have 7 groups with nothing in it, so we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's see what comes next because we have tons more. Okay. 10 times 0.
0.
0. What is this one saying? What is this one actually saying? Go ahead.
I 10
I have 10 groups. But what's the second factor saying?
There's nothing in your
We're not
group.
putting anything in here. And you end up with what?
0.
Now when we say any number multiplied by 0 is equal to 0, we're not talking about a number that ends in 0. This number is 10. This number is not 0. But clearly this number is what? 0. So I put this in to demonstrate this isn't 0 property because of that 0. It's 0 property because of plain old, the only 0. Okay? Don't get confused by that. Don't look at a whole number like this, 10, 20, 30, and think that's 0 property. That is not 0 property. This is not 0. This is 10. But this, that is 0. So it is 0. Okay, let's move on. What if we have a factor that's outside of our 0 to 12? Because your factors for 3rd grade this year are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the only factors that you have. What if we have a factor that's outside of it, like 14? What is the product?
0.
Still 0. Why? Because that 0 is in the equation and it's talking and it's saying, hey, I'm not putting anything in those groups. So you've got 0. You have nothing. All right? Okay, moving on. Are you feeling confident about this?
Yes.
Cool. Moving on. Let's read this together. Here we go. Ready? Read.
3 times 0.
How did you know that was times?
Because
Because we have the dot or the asterisk, and that's one of our signs. So I want you to start being able to read this and not feel uncomfortable about it. 3 times 0 is 0. So what's the first factor saying? Everybody just tell me.
How many groups?
I've got 3 groups. Yay! But what's the second factor saying?
There's nothing in those groups.
Very good. So what's our product? What's our total going to be?
0.
0. Absolutely 0. Moving on. Read this for me, please.
9 times 0
Equals
0.
Absolutely. Why? Because we have identified a 0 in the multiplication equation, so the product is always going to be 0. We're going to, no matter where it is, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. And here we go. Let's read this one also.
4 times 0
Equals what?
0.
Why? Because the 4 is saying,
How many
I have 4 groups. Yay, I have 4 groups. But what's the second factor saying?
I'm
not putting anything in those groups. Too bad, so sad. 0. 0. Very good. 0 property. Okay. Now something just happened. That 0 was living over here, but now it's over here. What has happened? Everybody say it, because there are a lot of hands. Everybody.
Commutative property.
Yes, commutative property. I love it. You guys are so awesome. Commutative property. You know what? I know I said we wouldn't stand because of all that, this kind of stuff. But we have to stand. We have to do our robot. We can't do that sitting down because it's too much fun to do it. Stand up. Just please don't hit the camera. All right, so here we go. Commutative property. Remember that word commute. What does the word commute kind of mean that we talked about last week? What does it mean?
To switch the places.
Well, you are doing that, but the word commute actually might mean
Travel.
like traveling, and that's right, we have the same idea. So when we commute, we travel. Sweetheart, I need you to stand still, and I need you to come away from the wall, because we're not leaning. There we go. We're all standing, not leaning. That's perfect. Okay, so now we're commuting, we're traveling. We all commuted to school this morning. These factors are going to travel. They're going to travel. So we're going to represent that. Here we go. Your very best robot ever. Yes, sir.
So is it like the 0 has like almost all of them and then but he doesn't want to do it?
Now hang on to that thought. We'll get there in just a second. Let's practice this first. Do it with us because I know that you just started, so I know. So practice this with us. Okay, here we go. Ready? Best robot. All pencils down. Commutative. 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 That was really good. But now let's do it again, and I'm going to make you freeze at different points. Give me your best robot. Okay, here we go. Commutative. 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 Freeze. What did you just do?
Pick
Picked up the what?
Number.
You picked up the factors. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. And now we're pressing play. Commutative. What did we just do? I pressed pause. What did we just do?
Rate of travel.
We switched those factors. They commuted. They traveled to some place, to another location. They switched places. Now, let's keep going. I'm pressing play. Commutative. Pause. What just happened? We dropped them in the equation. We switched them around. All right, keep going. Play. Commutative. Commutative. And one last time, let's just go through it from beginning to end. Here we go. Very best robot voice and robot. All right, convince me. Here we go. Commutative.
Commutative. Commutative. Commutative. Commutative. Commutative. Commutative. Commutative.
Very good.
Who said commutative?
That was very good. Have a seat. That was awesome. Okay, so now we're going to change the dialogue. If we were in writing class and we were writing a sentence or telling a story about this, and we had like a little cartoon going and we had like little bubbles and what the factors were saying, oh, maybe we could actually do that on the computers one day. Don't tell anybody. Okay, all right, so back to this. Back to this. So now, the first factor is talking. What is the first factor saying?
We have no groups. We have
The first factor is saying, I have no groups. Okay, yeah, have you seen these people on commercials and stuff like that? They'll do commercials. I'll use this. I really don't want to, but okay. So they're doing something. It's like a Verizon commercial or something, some kind of phone commercial. And the guy's talking and he says something and he thinks he's very clever with what he says and he goes, drop the mic. And he does this and he like drops the mic and he walks away. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So that's really popular in our culture. It's like drop the mic. It means like boom, bomb, like I'm finished, done. You know, you can't top that, okay? Can't touch this with MC Hammer. All right, that kind of thing, okay? So that's what the zero's like in this. When we do commutative property and the zero goes to the front and it becomes the first factor, it's got all this attitude. It's like, you have no groups. Boom, drop the mic and walk away. Because if that's the case, we can't even finish the rest of it. Because multiplication depends upon groups. You have to have equal groups to skip count. And if you don't have any groups, you have nothing. You have nothing. So if the equation starts with a zero, peeps, just let me hook you up with this, it's going to end with a zero. It's that simple. It's that simple because what this factor says, it's a boom, drop the mic moment, walk away. That's what that is. Okay? All right, cool. Do we have a good understanding of that?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So we understand what zero property means, and we're going to look at this. This is really important.
Wow, that's easy.
Now, it should be easy to you now, but I want you to get a shot of it in your mind because we're going to see it again in a few minutes, and I want it to still be easy because I'm going to take this. I'm putting it in the foundation because I'm going to add something bigger to it later, and if you really can see this, then it's going to be easy for you then too. All right, our first factor on this represents all the factors that you have as third graders this year. Do you see that? What are our factors this year? Let's read them together. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You actually have 13 factors because you have 0. You have 13 factors this year that you're responsible for learning. Okay? Now, this begins with a number, usually that's not 0. Of course, the first one is because we have to start at the very basic. All right? But from there on, then we look at the second number and we see that 0. We understand this one saying, I have one group, but the second factor is saying, yeah, but I'm not putting anything in that group. So you still have 0, and we see 0 property represented here. Now hold this picture in your mind because I'm going to change it. Look at this. What just happened? What property? It is 0 property, but another property just happened. Everybody say it. What property happened? Commutative property, where we just switched those factors around. And now we know that if the equation starts with 0, it's going to what?
End
With 0. Because we've got 0 property. Okay, we've got a big 0. 0 property. Why? Because this first factor is saying, I've got no groups. finito. Drop the mic, walk away. Okay, so that's what that one is. All right, moving on. So we have zero property and commutative property represented at the same time. Okay. Now, the product is always zero. Now, here comes a little something else that we worked on.
Yeah, we worked on
Read this for me.
Identity property.
Very good, identity property. So the purpose of identity is what? There's only one. Now let's put that finger right out in front of us so we can see the one. There's only one me. It's my identity. And that is true. There is only one you. There's only one you. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You are unique. There's only one you. There's only one you. You know why? Science keeps proving this to us over and over again. We used to think that your fingerprint was the only unique thing about you. Now we realize that it's your toe print too, and the scan of your retina. And if we scan your palms, all of your blood vessels in your hand are like no one else's. And everything about you is absolutely unique to you. Even your tongue print. Everything about you is unique. Not that we should go around licking people and leaving our tongue print. But the point is that it's unique to you. Okay, it's unique to you. So there's only one me, it's my identity. Identity property says that any number, say it with me, any number multiplied by 1, it stays the same. And I like this for all you baseball fans. It's like same. It stays the same. All right, it stays the same. So let's move on to that. Now when I say any number multiplied by 1, the number stays the same. Understand that we're always dealing with commutative property. So that might be 1 times 9. What is going to stay the same? The 1? Which number is going to stay the same? The 1 or the 9? The 9, because it's the 9 that's being multiplied by the 1. It doesn't matter where the position is in the sentence. If there's a 1 in there, the other number is going to stay the same. That's even true if you have 0 times 1. The 0 is going to stay the same if it's being multiplied by 1. If we have 1 times 0, then 0 property takes over because what? If there's a 0 in that sentence, what's going to happen? It's going to stay as 0. Okay, so we use these properties interchangeably. They work together. They hold hands and work together. They actually work together. All right, now here comes a little quiz. I want you to number your papers from 1 to 12. From 1 to 12. Do it quickly, just like you're doing a spelling test. 1 to 12. Here's our quiz. Everybody's doing it because I'm going to come around and check them in just a few moments. So I want to make sure that you have the answers, that you're feeling good about it. Now we're not shouting out any answers. We're just going to write the answer when we get there. Okay, so this first one has 4 questions. Do not tell your neighbor the answer. And I'm going to read them to you because some of you might make a mistake. This is number 1. This one is number 2. They don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I'm going to read this one to you. 9 times 1. And now you're not going to write 9 times 1 down. Please don't do that. That wastes time. You just have the number 1. I want you to write the answer. I want you to write the answer. Now you may write just the letter, or you can write the actual answer. Okay? So prove to me that you understand identity property. There's only one me, it's my identity. Any number multiplied by 1, the number stays the same. So you should be able to know what the correct answer is for number 1. So you should have already written that down. Moving on to number 2, 7 times 1 is equal to, and you should be able to write that down. A is 1, B is 7, C is 8, and D is 71. So you can write the letter or the answer. It does not matter to me what you do. Okay. Moving on to number 3. Yes, ma'am?
Can I go to the restroom?
You really need to stay for the end of this. This is only a couple of minutes. Can you wait a couple of moments? You can't? Okay, then go. But you'll have to do it when you come back. Okay, number 3 is 8 times 0. 8 times 0. Is it A, 8, B, 0, C, 1, or D, 80? Number 4. 6 times 0. Is it A, 0, B, 60, C, 6, or D, 1? 6 times 0. All right, moving on. Number 5. Number 5 is 4 times 1 equals, is it A, 5, B, 41, C, 1, D, 4? 4 times 1 equals, that's number 5. Number 6, 3 times 0. 3 times 0 equals A, 0, B, 3, C, 30, or D, 1. 3 times 0 equals. Number 7, 1 times 10 equals A, 9, B, 0, C, 1. Are you doing this? Because I see you playing, but I don't see you writing answers down. It's a quiz. So if you're not participating, it's a below the line automatically. And I'm going to let your teacher know how you're doing with this. It's a quiz. C, 1, or D, 10. 1 times 10 equals. Number 8. 1 times 0. A, 1, B, 0, C, 11, or D, 10. Just think about what that equation would be saying. 1 times 0 equals. Moving on. Number 9. 0 times 3 equals. 0 times 3 equals A, 9, B, 6, C, 3, D, 0. 0 times 3 equals, and your answer. If you'll, thank you. Number 10. 0 times 7. 0 times 7 equals A, 14, B, 2, C, 0, or D, 9. 0 times 7 equals. Number 11. These math problems just won't be quiet. I know it's quiet in here, but they are talking about the storm. They are telling me the answer. 11 is 0 times 0 equals A, 100, B, 0, C, 1, D, 10. 0 times 0 equals. And number 12. 1 times 1. 1 times 1 equals A, 2, B, 0, C, 11, or D, 1. 1 times 1 equals. Okay, those are the 12 questions. All right, now, I want to do something else with you, so if you will keep those notebooks open, in a moment I'm going to be checking them while you're watching a short movie. But right now, I want to explain to you what you're going to be watching on the movie. There is something called, please stop looking at yourself in the monitor. Not that, it's not called that, but I did see somebody doing that, okay? Thank you. All right, the multiplication grid. The multiplication grid is a grid that has numbers on it. Let me show it to you. It looks like this. This is like the coolest thing ever. Everybody say ever.
Ever.
It's like way cool. Say way cool.
Way cool.
No, it's not even way cool. It's like way cool. It's all of that. It is all of that, okay? So let's stay focused. Here we go. Remember when I showed you this, and let me show it to you. Remember when I showed you this and you said, oh, that's easy, and I said I want you to remember that for something later, and it shows us all the factors that we have in 3rd grade. Remember that conversation? Okay. Now, let's take a look at this. You are seeing that again right here. Do you see that? Okay. Now, here's how you understand the grid. The grid, and I want everybody looking this way, pencils should be down, notebooks should be open to your quiz, and then everyone's looking at this. Doesn't matter to me that you miss those things. Watch this now. Okay, very important. Okay, here we go. So these are factors. All of our factors we have in third grade. 0, say them with me, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There they are. Okay, there's only one rule to the grid. Just one. How awesome is that? You only have to remember one rule when you're doing the grid. Isn't that nice? It doesn't have like 12 rules, just one rule, okay? The rule is, whatever you do across, you've got to do it down. Okay, now let me further explain that. Across, I'm doing my arms like a cross. A cross represents a row. It's horizontal, okay? Do you know the song Row, Row, Row Your Boat?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So row, when you're in a boat and you go row, row, you have oars in your hand where we're doing them in the boat, and the oars are going in the water and it's pushing you along, kind of like a penguin's flippers and their wings and stuff. It pushes them, it propels them through the water. Okay? So put up your hands, let's do this for a moment. First, you count the rows. And then you count the columns, okay? The columns are vertical, just like I'm standing. This is a column, this is a row. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay? Now, we're not singing about the multiplication grid, we're actually singing about arrays, A-R-R-A-Y-S, which is something I'm going to teach to you next time. Hand down for just a moment. Something I'm going to teach to you next time, but I want to get this idea into your head today. Okay, so here we go. First, you count the rows. Do you see that I'm making a row with my body? Do you see that? So that will help you to know which way the row goes, right? Across. Everyone getting that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it again. First, you count the rows, and then you count the columns to make a multiplication sentence out of an array. And what I do here is I step over, and actually my body makes a big capital A for array. Okay, I'm not trying to be a genie like in a bottle and do some kind, I'm not doing that. I'm making an A like for array, okay? All right, now that's all we're going to do with that. I'm not going to proceed with that. I just wanted you to hear it. Now look at this. In the black, we have all the factors in third grade, 0 to 12. Look, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when I fill in the multiplication grid, I start in the top left corner. Please pay attention. This is very important. You have to do it. You're going to be doing this on your own, so you have to pay attention. We'll do it together a bunch of times, but you got to know this because it's going to teach you so much stuff. So here we go. We have the X in the top left corner, which tells the world what type of math you're doing. You're not doing subtraction, you're not doing addition, you're not doing division, you're doing multiplication. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
So we put in this sign. Then we write the factors. That makes sense because that's what we have to multiply. So we write those. What is the one rule to the multiplication grid? Whatever you do across, you got to do it down, okay? Well, if I write it across this way, I have to write it down this way. Now let me explain to you what this is. This is so cool. It's like crazy cool because in this black area is every multiplication equation you can possibly have for this year in your third grade. What do you need? You may. But I really hate for you to miss this. Is it an emergency? Is it? Okay. All right. Watch this. This is the secret of the grid. If I want to say 5 times 4, all right? Everybody looking this way. I see people not looking this way. Looking this way. Don't make me call names because we're videoing. All right. 5 times 4. My first factor is 5. I'm going to go right here. Here's my first factor. Everybody good with that? Now I have the times symbol right here. Everybody good with that? So I'm making a multiplication equation. Does everyone realize what I'm doing? Okay. 5 times 4. Okay, there are my two places. There are my two factors. First factor, second factor. Everybody good with that? Okay. Now I'm going to bring my finger across and I'm going to bring my finger down, and where they intersect, where they collide, where they touch, that is my product. So my product is 20 for 5 times 4. 5 is saying I have 5 groups. The 4, the second factor is saying, well, I have 4 in each group. Boom, it's 20. There's the product, okay? Now, let's try it a different way. What if I switch it around, and what if I say, well, let's do commutative property, and let's see if the grid does that. What factor is going to come first? 4. So I'm going to go to 4, and then I'm going to say times 5, and where it comes together, boom, there's 20 again. So the grid does commutative property. I could do it this way. I could say 5 times 4, and here it is. Or I could say 4 times 5, and there it is. Okay? So the grid shows you commutative property, and it shows you arrays, too, of what we're going to be talking about. That's one reason I love doing grid. The second reason I love doing it is because it also shows you zero property. Here's how it shows you zero property. Because if I say 0 times 0 is going to equal what, everybody? 0. Then if I say 0 times 1 is going to equal 0. It's not going to equal 1, 0. It's going to equal just plain 0. If I say 0 times 2, it's going to equal 0. 0 times 3 is going to equal 0. 0 times 4 is going to equal 0. Very good. Very good. I can go, yes, or I can go this way. 0 times 0, 1 times 0, 2 times 0, 3 times 0, 4 times 0, still 0. 5 times 0, still 0. 6 times 0, still 0. 7 times 0, still 0. 8 times 0, still 0. Okay? Still 0. So this represents zero property. Do you see it? Okay? It also represents identity property. Because any number multiplied by 1, the number that's being multiplied by 1, that number is going to stay the same. It's not going to change. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to do 1 times 1, and where it intersects, I have 1. 2 times 1, I have 2. 3 times 1, I have 3. 4 times 1, I have what as my product? 4. So guess what? Everything in white, all of these are the answers. All of these are the products. All of these are the totals. This is what you have to memorize this year. That's what you have to memorize this year. There it is. There's the whole thing right there. Because this will create any equation, and these are your answers. That is like crazy cool. Identity property. Any number multiplied by 1, the number stays the same. Let me show you something about identity property and multiplication. If I have 3 times 1, what is my first factor saying?
You have 3 groups.
I have 3 groups. A 1, a 2, a 3. What is my second factor saying?
You have 1 in each group.
I'm going to put 1 in each group. How many are in each group? So boom, boom, boom. Now when I skip count, what am I skip counting by?
Yeah, skip counting at all.
I'm not skip counting at all. Boom, shakalaka, boom. I'm just regular counting. I'm just regular counting. That's why I say the thing about there's only one me, it's my identity, because we're not even multiplying here, peeps. We're just going 1, 2, 3. The 3 stays the same. It doesn't change. It's like, leave me alone. There used to be, and I might have told you this, maybe I didn't. There was this really old, famous movie star, and it was from years ago, before I was born. And every time the reporters would come to take pictures of her or do anything, she'd go, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. That's pretty much all we have her saying is leave me alone, unless she's in a movie. Then she's talking as the character, but in her real life, leave me alone. And so every time I see identity property, that's what I think. Leave me alone. It's just that whatever number is being multiplied by 1, leave it alone. It stays the same. Okay, it just stays the same. Very cool. So do you realize why it's not even really multiplication identity property? Because you're not really skip counting. It's just staying the same. You're just counting. That's how that works. Okay, cool. So this shows us identity property. And then it goes on and shows us other things as well. Now, very quickly, I'm going to fill in some of these answers. I'm going to have you help me fill it in based on what I've told you. And then I'm going to show you a short movie about multiplication. Okay, are you ready? So help me fill this in. What's the first thing that I put right up here in the corner? Everybody. I put the X. I put the times symbol. Why? Because I'm telling the world that I'm doing what? Multiplication. All right, what comes next?
1.
No, it doesn't.
0, 0.
0, because that's my first factor. Then what comes next?
1.
1. What's next?
2,
Uh-huh.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, cool. The one rule with the multiplication grid is what? Whenever I do cross, I've got to do it down. All right, so I come underneath the X, and what will I put there?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I got a little ahead of you, and then I messed up. I almost beat you. Okay, cool. All right, now we're multiplying by 0. 0 times 0. So what is the product going to be? 0. Okay. If I'm multiplying 0 times 1, what is the product going to be? 0 times 2. 0 times 3. 0 times 4. 0 times 5. 0 times 6. 0 times 7. 0 times 8, 0 times 9, 0 times 10, 11, 12. 0, because it's what? 0 property. The one rule with the multiplication grid is whatever I do across, I gotta do it down. Okay, so I start in the 0 column, because this is a column. I start on the 0 column, and I just start coming down with my zeros representing what property?
0 property.
Very good. So I'm representing 0 property.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Very good. Now I'm going to represent identity property because I'm multiplying 1 times 1, 2 times 1, 3 times 1, 4 times 1, 5 times 1. Everything's being multiplied by 1. So what's going to happen to this factor? It's going to stay the same. Nothing in the world is going to happen to it. So here I go. Here are my products. The first one is going to be 1, 2,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's literally like repeating our factors because we're really not even multiplying like we know multiplication to be. Okay, the rule is whenever I do a cross, I've got to do it down. And so here I go.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You said 13.
There we go. Okay, that is all we're going to fill in today. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the movie, and I'm going to come check your work while you're watching the movie. So please enjoy the movie. I did this movie for my, no, I have to check your work. I did this movie for my 3rd graders, I put it online where they could watch it online and they could practice doing the grid. So it's going to show you some kind of magic stuff about the grid, which makes it really fun. So have your stuff open so I can grade your quizzes, and here we go. This is an example of how to complete the multiplication grid. First of all, you tell the world what you're doing, which is multiplying, and then you write the factors. Our factors this year are 0 through 12. The rule is whatever you do on the top, you need to do on the bottom. So if you do it going across, you need to do it coming down. Next, we use 0 property. That means any number multiplied by 0 will always be 0. So 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, and so forth. Remember, whatever you do across, you have to do down. Next, we'll use our multiplying by 1 rule. Whatever you multiply by 1, the number stays the same. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So the factors will stay the same, and they will become our new products. 1 is already completed, so we continue with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Next, we skip count by 2, beginning with a factor of 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. Remember, whatever you do across, you have to do down. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. Next come the multiples of 5. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Make sure you're at the 5 factor, then you'll continue down. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. 25 is already there for you, which is awesome. You can check your work. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. Now we're going to do the multiples of 10. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Whatever you do across, you have to do down. Make sure you're at the factor of 10. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50's filled in, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100's there, 110, 120. Now we're doing 11. 11 is so fun because you have the double digits. 0, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. When we get to 110, that lets us know that we have to do a different strategy. Now we need to add 10 plus 1. So 110 plus 10 is 120, plus 1 is 121. Add 10, 131 plus 1 makes it 132. Whatever you do across, you have to do down. 33, 44, 66, 77, 88, 99, and 132. Now we're going to the multiples of 9. This is really special because we're going to fill it in one digit at a time, beginning with the ones digit using the special pattern. As you can see, the ones digit place, the special pattern is 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, and 8. Now we're going to fill in the tens, and we're going to count up instead of counting down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this is different. There's a 9 there, but it's already filled in, so we just fill in the next number, which is 10. Whatever we do across, we need to do down. So we start with the ones digit and work down. 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0, 9, 8. Now we're going to count up in the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next come the 12s, and they follow a pattern as well. We're going to start again in the ones digit, counting by twos. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. 0, 2, 4. And now we're going to count up in the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4. It jumps to 6, but we've already filled that in. Now in the 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, irregular, but it's already filled in, 13 and 14. Whatever you do across, you have to do down. Starting in the ones place, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And now counting up in the tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is completed. Now we need to go back to the factors of 3. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Fill it in down, and we have 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Filling in the factors of 4, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 28, 32, 24, 28, 32. And now with 6, 36, 42, 48. Now we're going to fill it down, 42, 48. And with 7s, 49 and 56, 56. And the last number on the grid is 8 times 8, which is 64. Now if you want to see how we use the grid, here's what we do. We pick a factor on one side, let's say 6. And then we pick a factor on the other side, let's say 9. So we're going to multiply. We let our fingers intersect, we bring it down, let our fingers intersect. And 6 times 9 is 54. If we want to divide on the grid, let's say we have a story problem that says something like, I have 63 pages in my book, and there are 9 chapters in my book. How many pages are in each chapter? We would go to 9 because there are 9 chapters in the book. We would go over to 63, and we would come out at 7. That gives us our correct answer. The grid will also do equivalent fractions. For example, if you look at any adjacent rows, like 1 and 2, this would represent 1/2. 1/2 is equal to 2/4, is equal to 3/6, is equal to 4/8, is equal to 5/10, and so forth. But you can pick any two adjoining lines, like 2/3. 2/3 is equal to 4/6, is equal to 6/9, is equal to 8/12, and so forth. So the multiplication grid is a lot of fun. It's a great tool. We've got to use it in 3rd grade. And thank you for helping to make our students successful. Fantastic. We had just enough time to grade the quiz today while you were doing that. Now, if you missed problems on the quiz, don't worry about that. We're going to talk about it and get it cleared up. That's why we have to know what we don't know. You did a great job today. Thank you, Ms. Wagner, for being patient while I was finishing that. I really was trying to assess and see where they were. You did great. Fantastic. Back row, if you will please stand.